Welcome to Voice Bootcamp. In task number 2, we're going to show you how to deploy DHCP server in Unified CM 8.5. The list of activities in this particular lab is to ensure we configure DHCP server in Call Manager. Then define the server with the server-specific parameters that are available or globally available to all the scopes. Then we have to create 3 different scopes for one each location: HQ, Site B, and Site C. Once we have configured the necessary parameters for this each scope, we will then go ahead and configure the DHCP relay agent. Now, based on our previous lab, auto registration is enabled in the Call Manager. Therefore, the phone should obtain an IP address and start registering to Call Manager. So the 3 locations we have, again, the HQ side, we have 2 IP phone. Site B, for example, have 2 IP phone, and Site C has 2 IP phone. All 6 phones should register to Call Manager. So in this scenario, I'm logging into my publisher server. I will configure DHCP, and so let's assume we're going to configure DHCP on the subscriber first. We're going to use the subscriber as a DHCP server. And primary DNS, again, we're not going to use DNS. All 3 sites will use the same TFTP address, for example, so we can use it. You can configure the server specific settings. Subscriber will be the primary, publisher will be this secondary. We will then save these settings. Again, if you want to change the release time or any other parameters, you are welcome to do so. So what we'll do right now is we're going to create a backup DHCP server. On the publisher, same thing, no DNS is required. Same concept, primary is a subscriber, backup is your publisher as your Call Manager or TFTP server. So now that I have 2 particular TFTP server, I'm going to divide my scope into such a way so that I have redundancy in mind. So what we're going to do, we're going to create the first scope for HQ site, and we're going to use primary DHCP server, which is a subscriber. So the subnet here is going to be, which is the IP address of your HQ. Starting range, I'm going to say start from 10 to 100. This will be the first scope from this particular subnet. The default router is 240. Again, that is based on the HQ IP address, which is not assigned. There we go. And the subnet mask will remain the same, 255.255.0. Again, DNS, if you are going to configure them, you're welcome to select that. Here we can define different TFTP address if you want to. However, because we already have defined it in the server specific settings, so we don't need to touch this particular field. So what we have done is created one scope for HQ where the first let's say 90 address are assigned from this range. I'm going to create a second one from the same scope but on a different server. And this will go from, let's say, 101 to 200. The primary router remained the same, 240, and the subnet mask remained the same. So what's going to happen is when at any given time .22, which is a subscriber server is active, is going to assign a range of IP address from 10 to 100. Should this server go down, then it will use publisher 21 to publisher, which is a 21, and it will assign IP address from 101 to 200. So I must do the same thing for other scope. So this is the scope for site C. Copy and create one for backup. So in total I should have 6 particular scope, 2 for each site with the redundancy in mind. So now I will have to go to each router and configure what we call is the DHCP relay or IP helper address. So I have 2 IP helper addresses defined there. Okay. Make sure I can ping the call manager. Okay, there you go. Success rate is 80%. It took a little bit time because of the ARP request. Okay, we have a problem in site B. So let's troubleshoot that to make sure that we can reach the call manager. So site B, I want to ensure my interfaces are all up. OSPF seems to be up. There was a problem when the HQ side, the IP address in the HQ was incorrect. It should not be 101. It's supposed to be 131. So that because that IP address already belonged to one of our server. So let's verify that now. There you go. We can ping site from site B now. Okay, so show CDP neighbor. You can see the phones are there. Take some time for the phones to obtain an IP address, but depending on how long and everything, So we're going to verify that on both sites. So here is showing some IP address on the phone, but we don't know it is for sure whether it is working or not. As you can see, this clearly is not an IP address from our scope. So we will have to verify to make sure that configuration is correct. So sometimes it may require the phone to be rebooted. So what we'll do is we'll shut down port 1 and 2, sorry 2 and 3. Reactivate those 2 ports. So this will reboot the phone remotely. As you can see, there was a power detected. So we'll let this phone come along. So we'll log into cat 1. Cat 1 is the HQ switch. Again, you notice it got an IP address from 199 and 200, which falls into our scope. Again, there's no way to verify that. So what we can do is try to SSH into the server. Log into publisher as well. So there's not much you can see from command line perspective either. Unfortunately, we're going to have to verify by see if the phones are registering or not. So far, phone has not yet registered. So we'll verify that by pinging those IP address of the phone. So if the ping doesn't work, doesn't mean the phone did not receive the address properly. So there's something we may have to reset the phone configuration. So for example, this is incorrect because it should not be 65. Now, as I suspected, the phones were had to be resetted with the clean configurations. So we have 3 phone registered, as you can see, 2 from site HQ, 1 from site C, and the others are following as we speak. So this is basically the lab that will show you how you can use DHCP server. Sometimes if you have a problem obtaining an IP address, always make sure that IP helper address is configured on sites where is required. Site B, for example, has not received any IP address yet. So this is where you want to troubleshoot. Make sure you can ping. So there is a connectivity issue on site B. So the ping works, but it's not working from that particular interface, voice VLAN right here. So we need to make sure that this IP address is part of your OSPF. As you can see, the VLAN 101, it says protocol is down. So that means either there's a connectivity issue, and this is what it seems like it. Gonna maximize this. So there is a connectivity issue, but here we do have one of the interfaces up, so I'm going to make sure that VLANs are configured properly on that as well, and it is not compared to what we have here. So I'll copy and paste. Now you'll notice that VLAN 101 and 201 are currently up. So this is one of the connectivity issue which is causing the IP phone from receiving an IP address. The second port it shows to be down is because there's a power issue. So again, I will verify by doing a source ping to the call manager, make sure connectivity is restored, and looks good. So again, it will take a little bit time for the phone to receive an IP address and register to call manager. But you can type show CDP neighbor detail. So this is the phone that we're trying to obtain an IP address for. Again, it will take some time, so be patient. Okay, as you can see, the phone did receive an IP address from that particular subnet, and if I were to refresh, again, it might take a little bit time. So this one obtained an IP address again from 197. As you can notice, most of them are getting their IP address from second scope, which is kind of surprising, but hey, it works. Side B, to verify registration. Side B, one of this phone is going through a boot load, so basically software upgrade, so it is going to take at least half an hour on that. So I will not wait for that, I will continue. So as you can see, I have 2 phones from each location, from site C 67, and 2 phones from HQ. So there is a phone pending from site B. However, the second phone on site B is a malfunction, so I will not worry about that for now.